Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Is it America's longest short track or its shortest super speedway? Either way you look at it, this track embodies the characteristics of both, and it's rocket fast challenge to every driver who competes on this 3/4 mile oval. Live tonight from the virtual Richmond International Raceway, it's Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside here tonight with I'm going to get this name wrong every time I say it. It's Logan Threlkeld.
You did perfect that time, Bradley.
I got it. So here we are tonight, and I hope you guys are ready for another great show. So bringing you flag-to-flag coverage here on Vspeed. There we go. There, it was spelled correctly. I had it up there the whole time, I promise. So here tonight from Richmond, Logan, tell us a little bit about this place. I know your limited experience on the oval side of things, but this track is so tough, and turn 2 wall, it's going to grab out and touch some of these guys tonight.
Yeah, Bradley, just watching these guys going through practice, I've actually never raced here at Richmond, but I can tell you one thing, it's fast and it's tricky. Turn 1 is really tight coming off that tri-oval area. Getting into turn 2, like you said, they're going to run a high risk of getting into the wall. It's not a very wide track, so passing opportunities going to be limited, but we'll see what they can do here tonight.
And here tonight, the race analysis up on your screen, it's going to be 240 laps, so just shy of 200 miles, I believe. It's going to be about 199. Pit road speed at 40 miles per hour. Tire sets available, 5 as always, and unlimited green-white checkered attempts. Stage lap will be at number 75. And as always, the iRacing fixed setup, so all these drivers on a level playing field. James Silvers looks like he's on a different playing field after that qualifying effort as we get set to grid. That guy was on point, and I tell you, he's been fast at these short tracks, so look for the 17 to be up front. So with that, let's take you trackside now. Get that grid up on your screen. There's James Silvers with his 21.890. He wins over Rafael Hubi on the outside. Row number 2 belongs to Radburn Shutters with a 21.920. So everyone from back, the only 8 in the field, belong to that 17 car. Brandon Holder will start in 4th position. 5th spot belongs to Yusuf Ghali. He's got a few wins under his belt this season, looking to rebound. Jonathan Cofield will start in 6th, another short track legend. 7th spot goes to David Farmer, and 8th, Cody Anderson. Michael Kostick will be in 9th position with Eric Hutton in 10th. Take it away there, Logan.
Coming up behind 10th in the 11th spot, Sean Heiser. Next to Justin Sorrell. 13th, we've got Matt Greiner and Blake Hensley next to him. 15th, Nick Mills in the 88, next to Brendan McCullen. 17th, Craig Schroeder and Michael Cole. Behind them, we have John Schwartz and JT Hawkins.
So we get GT and it's Grenier. There's a couple names in there. Logan's new to everybody here, but he'll get it around. Alex Healy is going to start in 21st. Mark Morton in 22nd. And that rounds out your 22 car field here today from Richmond Raceway. Cars taking the grid on the racetrack, and you know, on this very first outlap, we've seen guys have problems across the board in all the leagues that we broadcast for. Let's just take into account that it's very easy to miss a shift here on these restarts, so hopefully we can get the first lap off clean. That's really what it's going to come down to, because this car is going to be dependent on the aero and the mechanical grip, and coming off of those corners, your likelihood of getting a run on the high side out of turn 4 diminishes tremendously if you start to knock that toe link out or start to get front end damage. So these guys are going to have to be careful, especially on these restarts. It's so tight, there's nowhere to go as you dive into turn 1. But here we go, starting to roll off. Let's take this as an opportunity here. We're going to pull up a driver into the booth. Let's get a chance. I think we're going to try to talk the last week's winner, Eric Hutton. If he's in the Discord. I don't know if I see his name or not. I do not. So never mind. I'm not seeing an Eric Hutton in here tonight. Maybe we can take this to Michael Kostick, the next driver up from him. Michael Kostick, Bradley Cooper in the Vspeed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hopefully we're going more than one lap here. I'm not entirely sure. It's 2 laps at Richmond, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that everything was squared away, but you're sitting here in about the 8th, 9th position to start this race off. And I've seen you race here before. You're definitely a top 5 guy, but what is it going to take to get around this place?
I think just really taking care of the tires and trying not to get too aggressive on exit and trying to keep it clean and out of trouble all night.
Yeah, it's really what it comes down to any place you go, but this place is especially important because it's so tight, especially here in 1 and 2 where you come off these exits. So getting to the inside of a guy is going to be tough. But Michael, good luck out there tonight. We look forward to maybe talking to you post-race.
Thanks.
It's Bandits Motorsports driver, Michael Kostick.
You know, Bradley, he mentioned my favorite thing, and I say it every week I'm in the booth, tires. It's going to be huge here. You're going to need every single ounce of grip you can get on the track.
You're not wrong about that, Logan, but these guys being in conservation mode, I'd say this first lap probably not going to be the case. Green flag is out. We're live and racing at Richmond. Motorsports already duking it out there in the front row, the 44 of Shutters. He allowed Silvers to get that lap led, but then dove to the inside and won. He's going to take away the point. So I see the 17 back here. He's already lost some ground to the leader in the 44 car. He's been stout all season, but now coming into this race, we know Shutters is hungry for that win. He's got a opportunity here. The last race before the chase, or these playoffs, he has to get up here and finish the deal because it's been close several times. GT Hawkins has not gotten a win as well. He's leading the points coming into tonight, and we didn't get a chance to talk about that, but he is the leader, and he's been the leader consistently now for about 4 weeks. He's been winless, though, and to do that, that's almost kind of like a Mark Martin-esque to the season. When you're leading the points without a win and we hit those reset buttons, it really does kind of hinder you for this, how the season went. So Logan, I know that your experience with ovals is limited. I would highly advise you to just try it out. I don't know if there's some kind of blockade between maybe an embargo for you road guys to just stay away from these circle tracks, but it's an animal all its own. And right now, riding with Yusuf Ghali, he's one of the guys that does it the best.
Yeah, he shows that week after two on these oval tracks. You know, he's consistently fast and consistently in position all the time. So you're absolutely right about that.
And in response to what I said about the circle tracks, has there been anything in particular that, any track in particular maybe that you've tried out or would like to try here on the iRacing service? Because I would advise to stay away from this place if you're not a fan of them.
You know, I'm not opposed to oval racing at all. I just like the challenge of road course racing. Now, obviously, I'm not, you know, downplaying the challenge on oval races, but I like to turn right and left is my key. But I certainly have been diving into the oval stuff here recently. I'm enjoying it.
Yusuf Ghali trying to get around your pole sitter, who's fallen back to third. Rafael Hubi trying to chase down Shutters. About 0.7 of a second separating those two. But it's so tough to pass here. You see Ghali, he can get the runs off the exit, but he can't get to the inside of Silvers, and he wouldn't dare try to get to the outside. It's just not going to work. Maybe the outside in 3 and 4 if he does it just right. But right now, everyone on the bottom single file is out all the way through your top 10. Closest battle on the racetrack, besides what we were looking at, Blake Hensley, GT Hawkins, this is back in 13th.
Bradley, I've noticed we've got a really short field here tonight. How do you think that's going to play out in favor of these guys? You know, fewer cautions, longer green flag runs. What are you thinking on that?
Yeah, I mean, right now, the Cup Series has been hovering around the 20s, and it has been good to these guys with the guys that favor long green flag runs. We do have that stage break at lap 75 that will group all these guys back up. So for the leader right now, who's pulled out to almost a full second, that's going to mean nothing. And for sure, could guarantee you everyone's going to come down and get 4 tires if we don't have a caution before that moment. Now, you saw Monday in the truck race and a little bit Tuesday, guys came down a little early during that stage. And then when the stage caution happened, they were ready to go, especially at Watkins Glen. You can kind of get away with that, where you come in and get your 4 tires a lap prior or 2 laps prior to the stage break, and then you come back out on the racetrack, everyone else comes down pit road, now you're the leader. So the strategy there, it could be a toss-up, but right now, if you're Radford Shutters, you're going to stay out as long as you can. Coming by to lead another lap. He's led at 11, now 12 as he crosses the line. Rafael Hubi has shaved down that lead about 0.2 of a second here. Looks like he's on the move, but the 21 struggles to exit turn 2. You can see that front nose, it just didn't bite, and he almost ends up in the outside wall.
Did a great job keeping that car straight right.
You can see back here in third, it's still more of the same. Yusuf Ghali cannot get around the Cornerstone Motorsports driver, James Silvers. He's all over the back bumper. You see the wheels again. That independent rear end, it just slaps around. They're trying to get it to hook up, but I'll tell you, Brandon Holder, another one of those guys that's been consistent all season, right behind Yusuf Ghali. There's the pass finally for third place, but the door gets closed. Silver sends it a little bit deeper into the corner, and we've got a caution. Blake Hensley around on the front straightaway. Hensley was running, last we checked, somewhere around 13th position. Not sure if he got some help here, if he just got moved. We'll go back on the Vspeed instant replay and find out. I think he got moved.
A little bit of assistance on that one.
Yeah, Hawkins almost gets a piece of somebody else, and wow. If you are, I believe that was Craig Schroeder. No, that was actually, I'm trying to find here what car that was. It was a white and green car. I have a ghost car out here that I just can't figure out who it is. The 81 machine. Not sure. Okay. He's invisible. He's not on the racetrack. It's Brendan McLaughlin. And he's driving through the field. He wrecks the 25 car. And more of this same here, that we're having these connection problems.
This is not a good start.
No, they're probably going to have to redo this session because he just took out 7 or 8 cars. He was running into the back of all kinds of people here. Let's see if I can get that on the instant replay here. and figure out. This is right about the time the connection probably drops out. I wanted to go back further. So here is where he dodges the wreck. This is the lap that this happens. I believe this is where Hensley gets, nope, it's going to be the next lap. But Hensley gets turned around here. And it was the Rolling Rock 81 that just barely misses that. And then has a connection issue and drives through 7, 8, 9 cars. He took out the 25 of Sean Kaiser. Right here, he's going to dodge this accident. So he sees that. I mean, he gets a little clip, but it could have been a lot worse. And then he has a blinking issue right here. We're still personally picking up telemetry from this car. He doesn't see anyone. He thinks, well, I got to catch up to the field here. I don't see anyone.
Yeah, this is a dangerous situation for the rest of the drivers in this field. And it's no fault of him by any means.
Something's got to be done about this iRacing. I've said it a million times, but whatever's causing this issue is unacceptable, and we need to figure it out, because how many drivers just lost the race because they have damage now?
I didn't get an exact count on that, but I can say it was too many.
One is too many when it comes to connection issues, and I mean the race stewards, I think they kicked the 81 out, had him reconnect. I don't know exactly what to do with that situation, but Hawkins takes it down to pit road, it looks like. So he's going to be done for the day. That's unfortunate for him as well. And I mean, what do you do with this session? Is everyone, Sean Kaiser, David Farmer, looks like everyone's backing out of here. So looks like we're done for the day. And they might have to entirely start this back up. Looks like they're going to maybe take the laps led from shutters. I don't know exactly how these statistics are going to work. But we're going to take a quick commercial break here on Vspeed. We'll try to get this all sorted out. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League live on Vspeed. And we'll be back as soon as we get this new room up. Sorry about that, guys.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
13 positions from where he started all the way back in 16th. One of the dark horses that hasn't really been mentioned too much out here tonight, Parker Johnston, running up in 4th currently, very comfortably. Started in 11th, a decent qualifying result, and so far, decent race pace behind it.
I'm impressed with this 48 machine. He's really turned it on the last few weeks. He's starting to run up towards the front more. If you remember back to Bristol last week, he was up in the top 5 for most of that race, and I think ended up with a pretty solid finish out of it. So this 48 machine's kind of peaking right now. We're trying to just get some points accumulated, see if he can work up the championship standings, and he's doing a really good job at it.
Yeah, actually, Johnston, I think, got caught up last week at in that final crash at Bristol. I think he ended up finishing in 20th. So he was running well. I think he led a few laps there, but I think he got crashed out. And Robert Rader obviously took the win at Bristol last week. It's not looking like he's going to be taking home the hat trick of victories, though. Tonight, he did win at Phoenix. He won at Bristol. Dakota, we'll see. He's got some work to do. We've been over halfway through this race, and the pace, it's just not quite there for them. You look at the lap times of Robert Rader, you're seeing a 2:16 compared to Jeremy Burns, who's in the 2:14s at this stage.
But Earhart is faster than Burns. That was 6/10 that last lap. This 41's catching the 9 machine. So we very well could have a battle at the end of this race if he's driving the wheels off it. Oh, into the grass. Oh, goodness gracious. Terrific save. That should have been all over for the 41.
Yeah, maybe we take the camera off him and let's leave Trevor Earhart in peace here. Leave him be. He's got to focus, clearly. John Fike running pretty well. Also, Kyle Diaz up into 8th. He's up 2 positions. 26 for Robert Rader. I think he's our biggest winner here tonight so far.
Definitely a lot of spots gained. It's 26 positions gained by Robert Rader here tonight.
And your order here at this stage is we've just peaked the halfway point. Jeremy Burns leading us off here, starting in 1st. Behind him by a pretty large margin, 5.5 seconds at this point. Trevor Earhart for the number 41. John Fike trailing him by about the same in 3rd. Parker Johnston in 4th. Tay McDonald bringing home 5th right now, which is a pretty decent result for Tay. Very consistent running so far. Jackson McGeorge in P6 with Robert Rader in 7th. Kyle Diaz in 8th. We have a battle for 9th, it looks like, or a battle for 10th. Kevin Orlando Jr. in 9th. And then in 10th, I think it's fairly undecided. Let's see. No, it's Justice Murphy. Never mind. He's just plowing through the field and just took that position from Grant Thorpe. Burns, the star of the show. I gotta say, you'd said it. We'll keep bringing back to this, but he's the road course man, clearly. The road course wonder, the road course, what'd you say?
Ringer.
Ringer, there you go.
A little Boris said in him. For those NASCAR fans know what I'm talking about. Boris said was always the road course guy. The mid-2000s, they bring him out to the racetrack to try and unseat Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and the like. He was unable to do so, but he was always so much fun to watch, and great hair. Great afro he had.
Heck yeah, I can get behind that. Let's take a look here at the running just out of there, who's running out of the top 10. We got Tyler Harrison, currently in 11th. Grant Thorpe behind him by about a second, trailing in between. But this battle is, well, not really much of a battle yet, but it certainly could escalate at any moment. It just takes one little slip up from really any of these drivers in this pack here to have any sort of mistake. And this is Berube, who has not had much luck here tonight. Started in 5th, down to 14. And there he is. The man himself dialed. Is he just staring the camera down?
he's pretty intense. No facial expression, eyes don't move, just laser focused.
Got a mission. Got a mission right now to make an overtake happen as he has a look here onto the number 15. Not going to happen. Trevor Keith. He's on it. We saw a car go flying here earlier. Not the slap, thankfully. No more broken spines. No, thankfully, that is one of the beauties of sim racing, is you don't quite need to worry about that extreme of damage. You do, of course. You know, I know everyone says, oh, well, sim racing is risk-free. No, it isn't. And when you're using a direct drive wheel especially, and you got your 4-speed back turned up, it can be quite a weapon. As we see a move from Keith to the inside there of Grant Thorpe. Side-by-side on exit. The Mustang versus the Chevy. Classic battle of the
Not
ages.
yet. They're working on it,
Drag race
setting
for
the grid right.
3/4 of a mile. Who's gonna get it into the braking zone?
Yeah, that's why I went down to
think
see if I
every
can get some info
advantage
for
should be
you.
had here for Grant Thorpe, but he locks up. We're gonna see the over/under here. The 77. Can he get it back down the inside? No.
Mine is?
No, he's gonna get under pressure actually from the 19
What
behind.
what part of it?
Berube. What does he have in store for us? Seemingly out of nowhere, he has found an opportunity and taken it. Excellent job there. Carter Lynn's, or rather, excuse me, Grant Thorpe, he's left speechless. How's it going, Bradley? Joining us. You've had some technical difficulty. That doesn't sound great. Everything all good? Hopefully you can get that fixed. And Go Harrison from Tia. Currently just in the top 10. The number 45 car started in 4th. Oh, big lock up ahead though. Is that going to be the moment that he's looking for? Robert Rader. Side by side behind, heading into the S's. They're going to need to settle this awfully quickly. They do.
Test.
Nip and tuck all the way through the S's. Now once you start getting ready to approach the exit, that's when the gloves can come off and start to see a little bit of movement side by side, but no, not yet. Still snaking. It's like one of those little wooden toy snakes that you had as a kid. Those little physics snakes.
Something happened to Chris Nail. He has left the session, it seems like. Not sure what's going on.
Oh, that's
there.
too bad. Hopefully that wasn't a disconnect. That'd be too bad if that was the case. He was having a good running.
Ooh, something happened to Raider. He is quite off the pace going down this backstretch.
That car doesn't look... It looks sad.
Let's have a little
Very slow, though.
even slow off that corner. He miss a shift, maybe? He had a compromised exit anyway with being, top of 3 wide. Let's go back a little further.
I think that looked like... I think we just missed...
far out wide, but just an awful exit on that corner.
Lima Bean watching live from an Applebee's parking lot. Yo, shout
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Richmond Raceway. Some technical issues that we had earlier in the first session. The 81 machine had a technical blink out. Drove through the field and a couple cars got DNFs for the night. So we started up another session here live from Richmond. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, still joined here by Logan Threlkeld, and we're sticking it through here for what we saw technical issues here at the beginning of the season in the truck series, kind of similar to that at Gateway, where a driver didn't see the rest of the field, and so now we reset here with the field frozen at lap 16 after our first caution of the night. So a lot of the information that will be on your screen tonight with the grid and all of that information of positions gained, some of that will be incorrect. Laps led will be incorrect, but it was Radburn's Shutters that took over the lead right there at about lap number 2, and he never really looked back after your pole sitter, James Silvers, led lap number 1. But we're rolling it back around this racetrack now, and Logan, I hope you're as excited as I am to get back underway, because it's been a tough start to this one.
It has been a tough start, but I did get a chance to run some laps here in the meantime, and I can now firsthand say that this is a much tougher track
than it appears. Yes, for sure. It's oval racing at its finest. The slipping and sliding, the beating and banging, the short track-esque of this place. When I asked the question at the beginning of the broadcast, is it the longest short track or the shortest super speed or speedway? It really boils down to it's its own racetrack, and you have to get around this place by racing the surface and the walls and the actual circuit. If you get to racing somebody in front of you or behind you, you'll find yourself in the wall rather quickly. But here we are. It's Radburn Shutters, Rafael Huby, James Silvers, Yusuf Ghali, and Brandon Holder with the top 5 to start out this second session. And our stage break will be coming in about, I want to say 60 laps, as opposed to the 75 we had set on the race analysis. We'll be interested to see how they ticked away the laps, how they judged that. But here we go. Pace car will pull off. And after that red flag event here today at Richmond, we'll go back live in racing for the second time today. Pace car pulls down. And just to tee it off correctly again, since this is the start of another session, live from Richmond, It's Overtake iRacing League. Green flag is out. A little bit of 3 wide action there to start this second session out. Yusuf Ghali, Rafael Hubi, James Silvers took it into turn 3, and they were able to sort it out, but it's not advised here to go three wide for very long. You could end up in the outside wall, especially if you're in that high line.
Yeah, absolutely, especially off a restart like that.
Jonathan Cofield moving up a couple positions here from this restart. He's up to the 5th spot, just outside the top 5. You can see Yusuf Ghali trying to work by Hubi on the inside, on the outside, dancing back and forth. The snakes down the backstretch. Ghali not able to get around, does peek to the inside again of the 21. Similar to Iowa, this racetrack, very difficult to get a run on the inside. You're almost always going to be on that high line when you exit. And Hubi able to hold on to 3rd. Actually, 2nd position. I'm not exactly sure. There we go. Yeah, able to hold on to 3rd. Timing and scoring reset. Everything's reset here in this session, and you gotta love it. Little technical glitches that everybody experiences, I'm sure, at some point with the sim or the broadcast. We're getting it sorted. 5 laps in here. 224 up there on the board now.
I've noticed we did lose the 81 car. Evidently, he was not comfortable enough to rejoin, having that connection issue. Can't say I blame him.
Yeah, and I've talked about it previously on the old broadcasts, and iRacing used to blink cars out, and when they were having a connection issue, they wouldn't interfere with anyone around them. Now, it seems after this last couple updates, the cars don't see anyone. The driver of the car doesn't see anyone, but they're still technically counted as telemetry on the racetrack, and they can have contact at that point. So not only are you invisible, but you're immune to anyone around you. They can see you, you can't see them, and you're basically a wrecking ball. iRacing's just not sorted this out. I'm sure they're aware of it, but it's costed a lot of leagues session time, and you have a race unfold. Some of the most important things happen in that first part of that session. I mean, yeah, we reset. It's kind of like a yellow flag, but at the same time, guys were coming down pit road. They were playing strategy. Now we're all on even tires. There's a lot of things that change with that. Happen to start a new race entirely.
Yeah, it really throws a wrench in things, but league admins here did a great job taking care of it, getting things sorted and set up back best as they can. So props to them.
On board with David Farmer. He's inside the top 5, trying to get by Yusuf Ghali. And it looks like more of the same. Remember, Ghali had just started to work a pass on the 17 car just before that yellow had come out. Now he's under fire from the 84. Last week, we had some of this similar to these names. It was Cofield, it was Farmer, it was Ghali, it was the 14 of Hawkins, all up here in the top 4 or 5 positions. It's been kind of constant here with this top 5, but somebody that's kind of quiet, waits till the end, the 9 of Brandon Holder. He'll wait until 20 to go, and I guarantee you this 9 car is going to be in contention to win this race.
That is one of my favorite strategies, to hold off as long as I can, make a late game push, and just see what I can do.
Finally back to the inside. Yusuf Ghali works on the 17 of James Silvers for 3rd. Can't get the pass completed yet again. The inside just tough to get around. Only battle on the racetrack right now is between these 2 positions. And actually Hawkins gets to the inside of Blake Hensley. Remember, Hensley was the caution. Brought out our only yellow of the night there on lap 16. Now tack on an additional 13 to that. 39 laps completed here. I say 39? I meant 29. I'm losing my mind.
Technical difficulties will do that to you.
A lot of racing going outside the top 10. The 87's around. That's going to bring in our second yellow. Hawkins almost involved in that as well. Put the camera on Eric Hutton just in time to catch that. He was inside, I believe, that was for the 11th position. Let's go back on the instant replay, find out exactly how this unfolds. This is inside Michael Kostick we talked to during the pre-race. Remember, these two started side by side with each other. It looked like Hutton just came up a little bit and got into the door of the 8. Man, Hawkins locked it up and dodged. Let's go on board with the 14 car. He didn't know where that car was going to end up. Did a great job missing Eric Hutton there. And remember, Hawkins was one of those drivers that during that little blink out had gotten some damage. And so he was done for the day. Sean Kaser also picked up a ton of damage. He got shot to the inside. I think the 48 was the other one that we saw of John Schwartz that got pretty much invaded, for lack of a better term. The 81 was inside of his car. And you know, that's the technical side of things with packet loss and all the other things that can happen to your internet connection. Sometimes it just creates a different scenario. What it hasn't messed up, though, is the 44 of Radburn Shutters. You can just go ahead and tack on another 16 to this because he has led every single lap since lap 2. Silvers has fallen out of the top 5. He's actually brought it down pit road here. So he's probably thinking strategy at this point.
Yeah, I would have to say that he is. Seems a little early, in my opinion, but these guys know their car best and know how they want to drive it.
They will have 5 tire sets, so with the amount of laps in this race, I'd say you could probably afford to donate 1 to the tire gods here tonight and come back okay. But they will have to work a little bit different strategy compared to the rest of this field now, since they burned that set. And you know, short track racing, if we get a late caution, I think, me personally, I'd want to have an extra set in the pits that I could come down if I'm 7th, 8th position back, come down pit road, top off with a fuel, and know that I'm guaranteed to make it to the end, something to that effect. Or if there's 30 to go, get those 4 tires and be, you know, 5-6 tenths faster than the rest of these guys. It'd probably help pass on the inside.
Yeah, it could certainly help there, but at the same time, we're technically 32 laps into this already, so you know, it would be about time for a normal pit stop, maybe a little bit early still, but they just might just be playing the same strategy as the first session here.
So now we rack them back up. Lights are out on the pace car. Going to go back double file. Radburn Shutters, Rafael Hubi, Yusuf Ghali, David Farmer, and Jonathan Cofield are the top 5. Does anybody have anything for this 44 car? Like we said, a few guys in the back here have hit the pit road. James Silvers, Nick Mills, Craig Schroeder. It looked like Mills, Schroeder, and Cole are just playing the fuel game. Not so much the tires, but Silvers definitely came in and got 4 fresh ones. Have to be interesting to see. But it's going to be a while before that 17 car finds its way back up front. Green flag is out of the restart zone. Shot out like a cannon. Shutters into turn 1. And Yusuf Ghali going to take advantage. Rafael Hubi did not get it going in time. Not a great restart there for the 21 car, and if you're going to pick up some positions, that's the way to do it, because these restarts are so key. You're starting side by side, so you already have that advantage. And going into turn 1, the bottom actually is a little bit faster because you don't have to lift.
Yeah, it wasn't a great restart. However, being this early in the race, you know, it might not be too bad on him. But we'll just have to tell as time goes on.
Farmer also picks up a spot on this restart, gets up to 4th spot. Jonathan Cofield up to 5th. Cody Anderson up to the 6th position, and he's up 2 spots from where he was locked after that red flag, but he's up probably another 4 positions from that. He started outside the top 10, I believe, today.
Yeah, I can't quite remember where he was. I want to say around the 15th or 16th area. I might be a little bit further back than where he was.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. It might have been 12th. I can't remember. But here he's up close to the top 5. And he's got a good little island here built. He's got Holder about half a second behind. Cofield about half a second ahead. He's just sitting perfectly there. He's able to run his line and do his own thing. So good for him.
That's almost the safest place to be, is by yourself here, at least for a little while. Get comfortable at the track and just hang out.
Very aggressive here for the new tires. Silvers goes to the inside, 3 wide on Sean Kaser, and the 31 of Blake Hensley gets 2 for 1 there as he came out of turn 2. Now he's going to work on the back end. The 48, John Schwartz. This is for the top 10. Something else that's unfolding here before our eyes as we see some more 3 wide, and Silvers shoves the 8 of Caustic up the racetrack. That's what I was just going to talk about a moment ago. We saw the 87 on the inside of Caustic. He didn't do quite the same thing, but Silvers said, well, you know what? Here you go. I'm going to move you out, and I'm going to take this spot. Now we have the 87 catching back up to the 8 of Caustic, and will we see more fireworks? There's the 14 of Hawkins, who was almost involved in that last yellow. He gets around Hutton. 25 of Sean Kaser. Doesn't look like he's got the run off the corner to clear the 14, so he's going to stay in that position for now. Oh, contact again. Just as we were switching cameras, the 14 loses the spot to Eric Hutton, and the 25 off of turn 4 looked like maybe just came off the wall a little bit shallow.
Yeah, it does not take much contact here at all. How slick this track is, every little bit matters.
So a spot loss there for the 14. Go back to the live shot. It looked like Caustic was trying to make a move on Blake Hensley down the backstretch, but it didn't work out, so Caustic's going to stay in the 12th position. When we go back up front to Shutters, he is pulled out about 0.6 of a second, and Yusuf Ghali struggling with the handling of that machine. Just trying to maintain in front of Papa El Houbi. It's a lot shallower on the exit of turn 2, and you'll see guys do that here to prevent themselves from hitting the wall. They'll kind of flat spot that corner so they can shoot it out kind of late on the exit. The problem with that is it doesn't get quite the runoff speed-wise. As you see, Houbi actually just tagged the wall there. It doesn't get quite the same exit. You'll see he's a little bit lower than Houbi. We'll ride on board with him. Through 3 and 4, he's pretty identical to the line everybody else is running. He's coming out wide off of 4, but here we go into turn 2. We'll ride through here. He's lower on the entry of 1, and then he's going to flat spot this and shoot it out towards the wall. Now, if you want to ride on board with Houbi, who's right behind him, you'll get an even better example. You'll see what the 45's doing compared. It's just a different mentality on how to race this track, and like I said, you have to race this surface. It's not about the guys around you. A little bit rounder on the exit there for the 21, and it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm not crazy, folks, I promise. The top 5 has spread out. A couple tenths each here for the front runners. 0.8 of a second for Ghali off of the lead, though, and that has continued to grow as the laps have continued. 34 laps on this stint, and add 16 to that. That puts us right at 50. We're approaching that stage break in 25 laps. They asked me to do math here tonight, Logan. I can't handle it.
Yeah, it's hard enough to pay attention to everybody on the track. Throwing numbers into the equation, it's not my forte either.
Riding on board with Jonathan Cofield. Cofield, another one of those drivers that we've seen. Well, you've seen him on other broadcasts. We have coverage on Sundays that Cofield is in, and he led a ton of laps at Bristol. We know he's a short track guy, but here tonight he hasn't found the lead yet. He's been hovering around this top 5, and I can see the potential for a top 3 finish here for the 58, but he's got a lot of work to do lap-wise if he wants any shot at getting to that 44.
It'd be interesting to see what he tries to take on strategy-wise after this stage break.
The stage break will definitely play a factor in that. And I venture to say that 4 tires probably guaranteed for all these cars, but does he come down before the stage break? He's far enough ahead of the rest of this field that he could probably afford to do that. But on the flip side of things, he needs a yellow, because if you come down during your green flag, you're almost guaranteed to go at least 1 lap down. You're pretty much guaranteed that. More than a lap down? Question. Oh boy, shot it into turn 1, almost got into the back of Farmer there. I was mid-sentence and that one surprised me. That's a close one. That's as close as it gets. After that little hiccup, Brandon Holder starts to surge back to the rear bumper in this 4th through 6th spot, all within a couple tenths of each other. Nick Holder's starting to turn up the heat a little bit here for the stage break.
Yeah, seems like he's really getting comfortable with the way that car's driving right now.
To the inside now of Jonathan Cofield for the 5th spot. He's going to get clear of him. So put him up 1 more. Lead has stayed around 8 tenths. OiL Hubi within a tenth of Yusuf Ghali. Just not able to work around him.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, this is a very tough track to pass. Limited opportunities, but it could be a strategy game here too. They could just be, running their race, waiting for the right time. No need to force it this early.
And if you're in learning mode right now, if you're not familiar with how this track is going to drive, as we see Blake Hensley way down the racetrack, looked like he got loose coming out of turn 4. He's inside the top 10. He needs these stage points. Oh, so important here in the Cup Series. Oh, the 87 of Hutton gets into the side of Caustic again. More fireworks. It's back. These two just can't leave each other alone, I see.
They're right on the cusp of getting some points here at the stage break. I can't blame them for racing this hard.
Hutton lost a couple positions after that contact. The 14 and the 25 get around him on the outside. Don't think the 87 has any damage, but he is kind of getting freight trained there. He's not able to run his line after getting shot down, and he's got to get that momentum back now. The 87 car is fast. It just has nothing to show for it right now, because every time he gets to Caustic, it's like a brick wall. "62 laps complete here as they come across the line. Radburn Shutters 8 tenths of a second ahead of Yusuf Ghali, OiL Hubi in 3rd. Brandon Holder has worked his way up to 4th spot after he gets around Cofield, Farmer, and Silvers. So on the surge now for the 9. I don't know if Holder has enough time to catch up to Shutters, but I definitely think he can catch up to Hubi.
There's a great possibility of that, and it would be beneficial for him.
Couple spots, couple points. That's what he's looking at right now as we approach this stage break. Just about 10 laps shy of that. Silver's trying to surge back. He was your pole sitter here today. So some of this top 5 has changed hands. Captains have been Shutters and Hubi here tonight. And after a little bit of an off with the red flag. I'm glad that we have cranked this out. Green flag racing. That's what we want to see here in the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. Cody Anderson getting passed by Blake Hensley. He'll fall back to 10th now. We were talking about the 42 earlier. He's all over Hensley again as they go into 1. He's going to dive it back to the inside. Probably not going to work out for him, and he'll fall back.
This long into a green flag run, it'd be hard to make that pass with tires in the condition they're at.
So do we throw here? We're looking at, I believe, lap 75 now as they cross the line. I think we are going to take the stage here. No, that's going to be 65 laps. I'm crazy. 10 more laps to go. Keep asking me to do math, and I just can't handle it, I guess. You'll see it pop up here on lap 59. That'll be the white flag. I hope. I hope I'm right on that.
Your math is correct. That's
Rafael Hubi tries to get around again. He got right up in the mirror, right up on the back bumper of Yusuf Ghali. Ghali looking like he's struggling a little bit here tonight. I say struggling, he's running in second. He's usually up at the front, so by this time in the run, he's found something. Doesn't look like he's found the secret sauce to get around this place just yet. Don't count him out, though. Don't count out the 21, the 9. Most of all, though, this guy right here, he's been kind of a sleeper at these short tracks. He's putting on a clinic right now, 54 laps in to this second session. Right now, if you're your pole sitter, James Silvers, you're probably thinking, okay, these guys are a little bit faster than me on the short run. That's what put me back in this situation. Right now, matching lap times actually a little bit faster than the guys in front of him. So what does he need to do, Logan, to make sure that he stays up front?
You know, Silvers, he's in a good position right now. But I think his biggest factor here is going to be getting some clean air. He needs to get away from the rest of the pack and just drive that car how he did it in the qualifying. You know, he set pole for a reason. The short game could be a factor here, but there's a lot of opportunity here for the 17 car.
We saw Brandon Holder. He was a lot faster than the leaders a moment ago as well, but that's since kind of balanced off. He probably was in save mode for a little bit there. Now it looks like the car is equalized to the rest of this field. He hasn't caught up to any of these boys, and the 17 able to get back around him.
Yeah, with a little bit over 1 second of a gap there for him.
I think that's going to do it for the stage, actually. 99 Sorrell went around. Sorry to cut you off there, Logan, but Justin Sorrell is going to bring out officially our third caution of the day, and I believe that's going to do it for our stage. Into the outside wall there. Already had some problems. 14, Hawkins looking for a place to get around him and gets into the back of him.
Yeah, not a lot of room there to go for the 14.
Back it up one more time. You're going to see the 99 hit the outside wall here. And then that's where it all goes wrong. That brings us to pit stops.
I think Sorrell just crossed him up there. You know, we saw GT kind of look to the outside, saw that gap wasn't there, moved to the inside, and I don't think Sorrell was expecting it.
And the 17 of Silvers misses his pit box, so he might lose a couple positions because of that. Yeah, he's going to lose a ton of spots. We're talking about over 6 seconds, and also Maybe Hutton. Nope, Hutton doesn't get him, but he falls back to 9th after finishing that stage out in the 5th position. Yusuf Ghali, who pretended like he had won the battle off pit road, but he did not. Stage winner, Radburn Shutters here. Overtake iRacing League, live from Richmond. We're going to take another quick commercial break here live on Vspeed. We'll resume coverage for the second stage right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Richmond Raceway. Green flag's back out for the second stage of the race, and already a challenge here on the outside. Yusuf Ghali gets up high, trying to get around Radburn Shutters.
A lot closer off that restart for the 45 car this time.
Yeah, he's starting to push the issue, but he's also pushing those tires. You saw him getting a little wiggly there coming off the corner. That challenge for the lead subsides. We go back here to a gaggle of race cars. James Silvers, who lost all those spots on pit road, has fallen out of the top 5. He's back here with Hensley, Farmer, Schwartz in front of him as well. Trying to get back around the 84 Farmer now. The 58 of Cofield to the inside of Holder, out of turn 4. And almost some 3 wide there as they went into turn 1. Trouble in the back. It's Cody Anderson. Anderson was having a good race. He's up in the top 10 there for a lot of it, but after those pit stops had fallen back to about the 13th, 14th position. Let's go back on the instant replay and find out what happened to the 42 machine. Looked like he locked it up there.
Yes,
Two drivers actually.
too hard.
Cofield had some problems as well. I think that was Cofield. No, that wasn't Cofield. It might have been the 50. Nope. Caustic had problems here. Let's back it up one more time. He had kind of a synchronized spin with Anderson, but was able to save it coming off a 2. But he'll lose a couple positions as well. And it's the 42 going to bring it down pit road here and probably get 4 fresh tires, or at least get that damage repaired. Caustic also in there as well. So 4 fresh ones going on the 8 machine. Anderson just going to get that damage repaired, and you're on lap 67, looking like a race got a lot tougher for the 42 right now.
Yeah, luckily for him, not too much damage on that 42 car, so hopefully won't affect him too much in the long run. We'll just have to see.
Again, for those of you joining us right now, we are officially on our second session after some technical issues. We're glad that you stuck around through the Overtake iRacing League and the Cup Series on their final regular season event before the playoffs. Bring that information up on your screen now and take a look at the schedule Richmond, the final race here, and then April 3rd, we're going to Homestead, Miami for 100 laps, 150 miles there. Hawkins Glen, Talladega, Darlington, some tracks that we've visited in other parts of the league and other series will be on the schedule, and we'll wrap the whole season up with Nashville Super Speedway on June 19th. Let's take another quick glance in those points series while we have an opportunity. GT Hawkins, again, the top three, winless here. Brandon Holder is winless in the Cup Series, if you can believe it or not. GT Hawkins, David Farmer, they all got ahead. Yusuf Ghali with the most wins in this league right now at 2. And, I mean, if you want to put yourself in a caliber of drivers that have won, you're on a short list here with all the races that we've had so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just goes to show how consistent these guys are to have no wins, but still be the top 3 in this league.
Yusuf Ghali, of course, had a little hiatus there of about 2 weeks. He failed to start a couple races, so that put him in a bad situation in the points and since has been in recovery mode. But here he is on the outside of the 44, gets a great restart to match. Into turn 1, he'll be on the outside. 3 wide behind him. Every one of these restarts has been utter chaos here.
But it sure is fun, Bradley.
Well, it's fun to watch, but I'm sure if you're behind the wheel right now, it's probably the most frustrating point in this race. Schofield to the inside of Hooby, who's almost fallen out of the top 3 for the time being across the line. But he gets a surge of speed. He backs up the corner here a little early and allows the 58 of Cofield to get back in front of him. Probably going to slide up. He does not. And Hooby going to hold on to the outside. I think the door was slammed shut on the 21 just now down the backstretch.
It sure looked like it from my perspective.
And you can hear him downshifting in this machine. 5 gears in the sequential gearbox. Almost have to shift down to 4th gear or you won't have the RPMs to actually turn with the throttle. A little passing going on back here. The 9 of Holder has the outside of Blake Hensley. Can't run his line. Hensley almost up into the fence as they come into 3 or into 4. And Hensley does hit the fence entering 1.
I think we're going to see that a lot more as this race goes on.
These tires starting to heat up on that right front. It's going to get more and more difficult. This car with its independent rear end really relies on that right front tire. And this thing being as loose as it is as well, as you see another pass for position. Hooby to the inside of Cofield now for 3rd. Doesn't quite have the sauce to get off of the exit of 2. Will stay at the door into 3 and 4. Cofield having the preferred line on the exits of these corners, but not able to hold on to it. And Hooby, who cut him a break earlier, gets back around Cofield. Deeper in this pack here, riding on with the 56 of Craig Schroeder. When the field was frozen, he restarted here in 16th spot. He's since worked up 2 positions, and I mean, Craig has been decent at these short tracks. I'm really surprised he's not closer to the top 10. If I remember correctly, some of his best finishes have come at the more shorter tracks. So I'm kind of waiting on this 56 car to turn up the heat and bring it to the front end. 15 in front of him and Matt Grenier. Both these guys have kind of done well at the shorter racetracks. Not to mention, they've kept the doors on it. That's impressive in itself. You were just mentioning that. Oh, and the 17 of Silvers gets snappy loose in front of the 87 and the 14.
Did a great job to recover that and not lose too much position there.
So here we go, setting up for lap number 80. Technically, we're on lap 96 of this race. Yusuf Ghali under fire from Hubi, who has surged back to the second spot. Kind of what we saw before that stage break prematurely ended, and Ghali just holding on. He's watching Shutters pull away some more, just like before. Now it's at half a second.
Yeah, Bradley, a couple laps ago you mentioned some of these guys, it seemed like they might be holding off a little bit. You know, I've said it a couple times now, it still is early in this race. I think we've got a handful of guys that are just waiting, saving those tires until they can really start to push towards the end of this race and hopefully get a run up to the front.
And saving your tires, there's an art to it. A lot of guys think, well, you know, it comes down to, well, I just lift off the throttle a little bit earlier, or maybe I get on to the throttle or don't use the brakes, whatever the case may be. But a lot of it has to do with what line you take around these racetracks. And yeah, you can run the outside here and be very fast, but you're wearing out the right front a lot more because you're carrying a little bit more speed on the exit of the corner. And so overall, in the long run, you could find yourself 3-4 tenths slower than the rest of this field because you drove that line. And we got another yellow. Cody Anderson having problems again here.
And I saw Cody coming up on the list there. I think he worked his way back up to 16th after that restart. So that's unfortunate to see him spin around again.
Gonna happen coming out of turn 4. It looks like it's gonna happen by himself. He gets loose, most likely here. Yep, back onto the throttle, sideways, and can't quite save it. He tries. Locks it down on the front stretch, doesn't hit anything. The 42 machine has to start over again here on this next restart.
Yeah, he really saved himself hitting that wall, keeping the damage off that car. It'll be interesting. I'm curious if he'll come back in and take tires after that. There he is.
Looks like he is down pit road, so... Rest of the field also electing to pit. Here's the 44 Shutters, and a few drivers will stay out here. Matt Grenier is going to stay out. Yusuf Ghali misses the box. Did he miss the box, or did he just purposely decide this is how I'm going to get track position?
It's hard to say. I thought I saw him dive in there. It might have been a miss and a great call to just abort the pit.
Will he come back down? It looks like he's favoring. Yeah, he's going to come back down pit road. So mistake there by the 45 rather. He said 54 on Tuesday or Saturday or whatever day that I used to watch Yusuf. He was the 54 machine. I want to go back and take a look. Not sure. Yeah, he misses it. He slides through the box entirely here. But I think he stands to lose even more time and positions by coming back out. I think he would have been better off to just put it in reverse and try to see where the cards fell. I don't know.
I can see where you're coming from on that, but I think, honestly, the safest play is exactly what he did. You know, get out of the way. That way you're not getting tangled up with the rest of the guys that are coming up from behind you, trying to exit the pit at the same time. You know, he's going to lose a lot of position here, but he's been running good enough. I could see him making a charge back up to the front pretty quickly.
And so stops in the box, 14.2 for Matt Grenier, his last stop, but he will now have 27 lap old tires as opposed to some of these other drivers. Brandon Holder, who elected maybe just right sides only on the 9 machine, 9.5 in the box, so he works his way up to 4th here on this restart. Lights are out on the pace car, getting ready to go back green for the 5th time today at Richmond. Green flag up in the air. Michael Kostick, Craig Schroeder, side by side here going into 1.
Yusuf barely caught up to the back of the pack there, but had a good run to go ahead and overtake 3 cars, it looks like.
catches the back end of the field there, and the 45 works his way up to 15th position. All over the back bumper of the 25 of Sean Kaiser. Oh, trouble here. The 56 is around. The 21's around.
Those fresh tires have proven a problem on these restarts time and time again already.
That unfortunately takes out Craig Schroeder. He was up towards the front. Finally, I saw the 56, but he gets loose going into one. Rewind it back here and find out. Maybe a little contact. Yes, a little contact there with the 21. They were 3 wide. Just touches him slightly in that left rear quarter, and Farmer, Schwartz pick up some damage from that. It looks like Silver's maybe gotten to the back of Hensley. The 88 of Nick Mills. I think he lost a ton of time on this. Yeah, he's going to lose probably 3 positions here, but I think the field was frozen, so Mills does get those couple positions back. But unfortunately, you know, the 21 at Hoobie, who's been up here in the top 5 all day, has to bring it down pit road now. That car has probably picked up some damage, especially on that right side.
Yeah, that was a big hit.
So getting the damage fixed here, live from Richmond, Matt Grenier takes over the lead. He's going to get some more laps led here under yellow for the 6th time today. We're going to take another quick commercial break here live on Vspeed. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Series. Sorry, drew a blank there for a second. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Richmond. Matt Grenier has pulled out, but Radburn Shutters wants his lead back. He's worked his way back up to second position. And here we go off of turn 2. You can see that lead dwindling down a little bit more. So you see the exit speed that the 44 is getting. I know Grenier is on a little bit older tires, but will he play defense here? He's going to go up to the outside coming off of turns 3 and 4. He has a good chance here to keep the 44 pinned down if he can run that entry, but he's going to back off the corner. Now he gets to the gas. Not early enough, though. I think he's going to get into the exit wall. He does it, but it's enough there that he has to lift, and the 44 resumes the lead.
And that just goes to show how important tires are here at a track like Richmond.
Yeah, it's been the tire strategy from the start. You've seen several guys come down early. And we talk about the guy that did it first, the 17 of Silvers. He still hasn't recovered from being on a different stint than everybody else. He's been caught up in a few things as well. He got loose there, brought out the yellow, and he's just had problems ever since he got deep in this field. Yusuf Ghali, who's been trying to race back up to the front. He's up to 9th now, to the outside of David Farmer for the 8th spot here off of turn 2. He's going to get the run.
A little bit of contact with the wall in front of him there.
Yeah, I think it was the 8 Caustic. Ghali trying to decide where he wants to go here. He's going to dive to the inside now on the 8. Can he get clear of them as they come off of 2? He does. And hey, don't look now, but look who's side by side again. I'm waiting for the fireworks here, Logan.
I am too. I'm holding my breath.
He will get clear of him. I mean, that's what you need to do, though. Now he's got another car. He's going to get the 2-for-1 special. He's following Yusuf Ghali right up through this field.
Yeah, that was a smooth pass by Hutton there.
Shutters takes back over the lead, pulls it out to half a second. Brandon Holder got around. Cofield, the 15 of Grenier, has fallen all the way back to 9th, and he's under fire from Silvers. Cofield in the mix as well. Looks like staying out with about 20 lap older tires has not paid off for the 15.
Not this time, at least. We might see something happen later in the race to where he's gotten that extra set that extra set of tires to play with, so it could come in his favor later.
Yeah, there's been a couple cautions here to set this field up for all these different strategies, so would not be surprised if he's in a better scenario towards the end of this race. David Farmer, Yusuf Ghali side by side into turn 1. This is for the 5th spot, or 6th spot rather. 25 just behind him, getting by Matt Grenier now. A little pinch down there from Farmer, and Ghali cannot get around him.
And this is going to give Hutton a great opportunity to catch up with Ghali here and maybe make the same run.
Ghali's barely edged him out there on the exit of 4, so he will take over that position. He's going to get to work on John Schwartz now. Eric Hutton just behind it, didn't quite get that opportunity to keep the door open. But 108 laps, we're coming up technically halfway for this part of the session, but still a few laps to add to that, so we are pretty much at the halfway point in this race. 16 to add to that, so well past halfway.
been a great race up to this point so far. I believe it's 6 cautions and 127 laps. A track like Richmond, I'd be very happy with that.
Remember, the stage break was under yellow as well, so officially 6 cautions here today. We usually negate that caution for the stage break, but it was an official caution after some troubles. I believe it was Justin Sorrell that got spun around. No, can't remember now. Drawing a blank here. Help me out.
Are you referring to after the second session started here?
Yeah, it was the stage break, just before the stage break, there on lap 58, that we were coming around. And I'm drawing a blank for whatever reason, but I know a car spun out. It was either Michael Cole or Justin Sorrell. Somebody had an issue there that put us at that stage, and so they finished it under yellow. Gave Shutters the win there and those valuable points.
I think that was Anderson. Right before the stage break that got a little sideways and caused that caution.
Nonetheless, 44 has taken back over the lead, and nobody has had... Once this car gets to the front, it looks like the 44 is just on rails. Clean air. He's doing his thing. He does have a little bit of that lead dwindling away. Last time by, Holder was about a 1/10.5 faster than him. So... right now, if you're the 44, are you saving anything? I know tires are important, but do you want to back up and let this 9 car get in your mirror?
It all depends on just how close he can get without him having to let off like that. If he's going to get up real close and start pushing me through the corner, I'm probably going to let him go. I've said it time and time again, we're really early in this race still. No need to take some unnecessary risks.
The lead dwindles down to just under 0.4 of a second. Coming off of turn 2, Holder much faster that time by a full 1/10.5. That's, you factor this in. 3 and 4, not as fast for Holder, but 1 and 2, he is ripping through the exit. Down the backstretch, he's going to make up a ton of time here. If he can hit it just right, you can see that late apex here. Coming off the corner, watch that lead dwindle back down. If Holder could figure out 3 and 4, he probably would be on the back bumper right now of Shutters.
Yeah, you're 100% correct about that. That is his downfall within his lap time right now.
Passing by about 0.5 slower, but he is also in the dirty air of the car in front, and not as much of an importance as it is at the 1.5 mile tracks, but this track kind of in between. You are carrying enough speed in the entry of the corners that dirty air will affect how you're getting in, and you can see the 9 car starting to lose a little bit of ground. He's starting to try to compensate for that by diving deeper in the corner, but I don't think that's the answer here.
Trying to compare their exit speeds here between Holder and Shutters to see where they're at on the exit of 2 and 4 here.
Well, I can give it to you in kilometers, but I don't know if that'll do you any good. You might have to convert that to freedom units.
Haven't we talked a couple times about doing the map during the race? It's not our forte.
Doesn't work out. Quietly back here in third spot, though. Cofield, this race single files out. Nobody really battling on this racetrack. And it's kind of the internal battles right now with changing your line, racing the track, not the guy in front of you. And I think that's kind of where Holder is struggling because he sees that he gets these gains, and it's kind of hard to ignore when you see that car in front of you getting a little bit bigger every lap. You still have to stay focused. Hit your marks, run your line, and do what you got to do to make sure that you're in contention for the end of this race. Shutters, nobody in front of him. Maybe he's looking at the relative, but I'd have to say, based off of his times, he's been consistent here. 22.5, 22.5, just over and over. And Holder, who was running 22.4s a moment ago, he just ran at 22.6.
And now that I've got to watch these guys separately, for a couple laps, I'm seeing Holder with about a 5-mile-an-hour difference on the exit of turn 2 from Shutters, but Shutters makes it up out of 4 with about a 6 to 7-mile-an-hour difference. So that's definitely where we're seeing Holder having his holdbacks.
Pun intended. Jonathan Cofield now starting to shave away for second position. He's within 3/10. And we talked about it at the beginning of the show. The 58 car, another short track legend. And if he can get up here and get around Holder, maybe he can have a shot at Shutters. It's going to be difficult to pass. You can see both these cars starting to late apex into 1 and 2. That messes with the line of the 58. He can't get back to the throttle as soon as he wants to. That dirty air.
Yeah, it seems that Holder's just trying to imitate the line of the 44 car right now, just to keep that gap where it's at. Which, great play by him. But he does need to make up some time, so we might see him change up his line here coming shortly.
Now, last time by, kind of rounded the corner. This time he late apexes and sticks right with the 9. So still just about 3/10 separating. Another guy that's into the picture now. Haven't talked much about him other than when he was having problems today. He was caught up in almost every single incident at the beginning of this second stage. But here is the 14 of GT Hawkins. There's some side-by-side in front of him. 58 at Cofield can't complete the pass. And Hawkins looking to pounce. If he wants second and third, these guys starting to get racy. Good chance.
Yeah, Holder got into the wall there coming out of 2, allowing Cofield to kind of catch up with him there.
Back to the inside again. Cofield going to try to take away the second position. And if you're Shutters right now, if you weren't watching the mirror, you might be paying attention to it now because these guys getting side by side. He's pulled away another 2/10.
Yeah, Shutters has got to be very happy with this battle going on behind him, just adding on to his time. You know, Holder and Cofield slowing each other down at the moment, but maybe we'll see one of them break away.
Right now, if you're Cofield, you're thinking, where's the weak place? There really isn't one. It's a defensive line no matter where you are on this track. And he's going to have to move Holder. There's no way around it. He's going to have to move him out of the way and pray that he doesn't get back to his rear bumper. He might plan that later in the race if he's in another situation with either Holder or somebody else. But we see that's what makes short track racing an art, because you want to move a guy out of the way. You want to do it effectively so he doesn't get back to you, but you don't want to wreck the guy. So you have to be careful about how you do it, where you do it. And we've seen Bristol here in the Overtake iRacing League where guys made those moves right at the end of the race. Oh, Holder into the wall again. This is going to give another chance to Cofield, but if he doesn't clear him here, this could be another couple tenths, and you see the lead already up to a second.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, Bradley, Cofield could be holding out for maybe a caution to get him on the same line as Shutters.
Talk about drivers that have some older tires. Matt Grenier, he's all the way back to 14th. This car is a solid, I would say 3-4 tenths off of your leader. 23 flat here in the last time by, as opposed to Shutters with a 22.7, Holder 22.8. So it's kind of evening out, but the heat in those tires probably didn't cool off enough, and you know, this racing surface is still pretty hot. You got 79 degrees track temperature. It's come up a degree or two since we began this race. We didn't have quite the warm-up that we had to begin this session compared to the first one. So that is kind of playing into the hands of some of these guys that maybe prefer a cleaner track, and it is helping with the passing because we didn't see any of that to start the race.
Yeah, no. Their passing didn't really start until about lap 40 or 50. Everybody kind of evened out right at the beginning of that race and didn't see anything really happening for a while.
About 90 laps to go in this race. Overtake iRacing League Cup Series race number 11, the final race of the regular season before we hit playoff time, and we have another yellow flag. Not sure where this started. Nick Mills, maybe? Let's go back on the instant replay and figure it out. Here's Silver side by side with Hut. They go to the inside of Farmer. And Loose coming off a 2 into the side, and Hutton gets damage from it.
Really tried to push that car to finish out that pass. It didn't work out that time.
On board with Eric Hutton. This is an 8th position. That just snapped free. I think we need an onboard here with the 17 car. Watch the wheel here. I mean, you'll see cars and drivers do that a lot. Just a little too much counter steer. You can get off these corners pretty well with that little bit of counter to straighten it out. But as soon as you're on the throttle, you kind of want to give it back because that car is going to snap free as soon as it connects.
Yeah, these next-gen cars, they snap so hard sometimes, and we saw that right there. Perfect example.
So officially 7 cautions here today, 3 lead changes. The dominant driver of the day, Radburn Shutters. He's led 122 laps on this session. Well, we can just go ahead and tack on an additional 15 to that number as well, putting us at 147. So here tonight, he's looking good, but so far, it's been the Shutter Show. We're going to take another quick commercial break here live on Vspeed, the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. We'll be back right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live at Richmond. The green flag is back out, and we have 3 wide going into turn 1. Yusuf Ghali, who raced his way back into the top 5. Snappy Loose off at 2. If you're Schwartz, you just had a heart attack.
Absolutely.
Schwartz actually out of line there in 3, all the way up near the wall. He is able to rebound from that, but now Ghali to the inside of Holder. Remember, Holder was in front of Cofield there before this yellow flag. When these guys came down pit road, Cofield was able to get around them.
Yeah, like I mentioned, that was just the perfect opportunity for Cofield to make that pass. You know, he was holding out for that caution to come out, made his move, made quick work of it.
Less than 100 laps to go. We're sitting right around that mark of about 80 laps. And right now, Yusuf Ghali, who's been up front a couple times today in this top 3, he was running in second there at the beginning of this race. He's since had to rush his way back up through this field. He's doing a phenomenal job with it, though. You can see him still trying to clear Holder, but Golly's got the goods. Still nobody has anything for Shutters, though.
More contact back in the pack. Didn't quite get to see who that was.
Car got loose, and that's where it began. Hensley got loose. It got into, it looks like Farmer. No, that's not Farmer. That is the 42 of Anderson. Some more problems for Anderson. He's got a broken front suspension. He has to bring it to pit road.
That might be the end of Cody Anderson's race today.
Yep, looks like it. That's unfortunate. I mean, Anderson was having a decent day. He'd been up the top 10 a couple times, but Hensley, who's still out on the racetrack, you know, he didn't mean to come across the nose of Anderson. But
Yeah,
it's just
that
been another day like that.
Yeah, that was purely a racing incident. No intention there. Just unfortunate circumstances.
Riding on board with Jonathan Cofield. He's pretty similar lap times here, but the entire top three really have been that way. Cofield has been stronger on the long run, and I'm interested to see if these laps tick away. We get, you know, somewhere around the 170 mark. Does Cofield have anything for Shutters? Because last time when he was stuck behind Holder, he was faster than both those cars. He just couldn't get around them.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to say. You know, Cofield, like you said, he was faster than the two ahead of him, but Shutters at this point, he can push it and really get that gap out there, but he's going to run the risk on those tires for Cofield to catch up later in this run.
The other thing, too, that we've noticed is Shutters kind of gauges how hard he pushes it based off of who's behind him. He hasn't really had the 58 behind him, so he might not know how far he needs to push or how hard, and that could backfire on him because he's had Golly, he's had Holder, he's had, you know, a guy in front of him that had older tires, but he hasn't really been in this situation. Schwartz hits the wall coming out of 2.
Luckily for him, not a whole lot of time lost on that.
He has a guy that also has some right front damage, so maybe some problems there for Golly. He had fallen back to 5th now. He was up there challenging Holder and lost a position. So I venture to say that right front scrape probably came when the 48 car got around him. Golly, driving this thing right on the edge, though, every single lap. Watch that wheel. It's just working. Right here on the exit of 4. I mean, kudos to people that can drive like that. I've never been able to do it. If my wheel isn't smooth coming off these exits, I feel like I'm overdriving it.
Yeah, I'm the same way, Bradley. It's tough, but whenever you've got as much time under the belt as these guys do, it's just second nature to them at this point.
153 laps completed now. Coming up on 154. Shutters gonna keep tallying up the laps. 139 led in this session. Shutters just on another level when it comes to this short track racing.
Yeah, he's had a great run here, and I'm sure he's loving every second of it. You know, typically over a half second of a gap, he's got to be feeling pretty comfortable up there by himself.
Well, some of the racing that we saw earlier in this season, Shutters was up front for a lot of it. He just couldn't seal the deal. And you put the points back up on your screen here and talk a little bit about that. You can see it right there. The top 3, they went winless, but they're guys that always run towards the front. Hawkins led a lot of laps this season. Holder's led a lot of laps. He's got wins in the other 2 series. Farmer, another guy that, you know, last season or last season that these guys all raced together, not this league, was able to put together a couple races with wins. But you look here at the 44 of Shutters, he's all the way down in 10th. So it's almost like, yeah, he's got to win, but the other races that he was up front for, he didn't get the finish that he deserved. And he's been plenty fast enough, as you've seen. Well, you didn't see because we had the graphic in your way, but Cofield just hit the wall there coming off of turn 2, and he's going to give up some time to hold her.
Bradley, back to the point situation there. You know, if Shutters can hold on to this position, after you get out of the top 5 in the points, it really is a close race. So he's looking to put himself in a good position to go into these playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to get. You got to get some wins under your belt, because when they reset these points, if you don't have a win, you're going to fall down to the guys that do have wins or will win, and that's what it's all about. It's how the playoffs work. So wins mean everything at this point, and you have one more opportunity here tonight to snag it. If you're Shutters right now, 2 wins going into playoffs, that is tremendously helpful, because that'll put you up in the top 3 in points. At the very least, top 5. I mean, mathematically, I don't know exactly where he would factor in, but after leading the most laps, that's going to be a bonus point. You know, he's been up front. He did lead at least 1, so there's 2 bonus points. Then you take into the fact that he won the stage. Then he gets 2 wins. I mean, they just keep piling on here for the 44. If he can seal the deal here tonight, we're looking at a reset there. And the 44 is probably going to be 5th at the lowest.
Yeah, I think you're right on that math, Bradley. Looking into it, it all depends on where the rest of the field finishes, but I would say there's a good chance that we definitely see Shutters finishing this in the top 5.
So Cofield still struggling a little bit here. Holder just behind him. These guys have really, I mean, they're simmering still. They're not far off, but a 10th off the lead is all it really takes here for Shutters to just maintain that gap. And lap after lap, we will have to factor in, if we stay green flag pit stops. That's the opportunity, I think, where Holder and Cofield can win the battle. Excuse me. Wow, that one snuck up on me. To win the battle, though, you have to pit better than everyone else, and Shutters knows that. But based off of this running out front the whole time and being a little bit quicker, you have to think he probably has to come down a lap or 2 sooner.
Yeah, it's going to be a dangerous situation on a green flag pit stop here. You know, those top 4 pit stalls, they're difficult to get into sometimes on that corner of the pit. We saw that earlier with Golly going through his pit stall. I have to say, I believe that was due to the angle he tried to get in there.
Coming on board with the 45 machine, and I mean, another great day for him. He's sitting 4th in points here tonight. He's got a couple of guys behind him that are ahead of him in points. So, and also coming down to pit road for those green flag stops, cutting it really close to those pit barrels, but he gets in.
You know, we saw Golly make a great run up from the back of the pack there after one of the earlier restarts here after the stage. So I'd like to see what he can do here with a fresh set of tires against everybody else.
He'll short pit about probably 2-3 laps to your leader. I don't think that Shutters is going to come down just yet. He's going to stay out another time, this time by. And so that'll put him 1 lap over on Yusuf Ghali. Entire top 3 stays out. Which John Schwartz, GT Hawkins up a spot. Eric Hutton up to 6th now, the fan favorite. Shout out to all the Eric Hutton fans out there in the Vspeed chat.
Yeah, Golly pitting this early really has to put that thought in the back of Shutter's head, but at the same time, with a little over a second of a gap to 2nd place, he might try to extend this run a little bit before he thinks about it.
Yeah, I don't think that he's in a bad spot. I think if you're Cofield or Holder right now, you might be thinking, okay, well, this could get a little tough here with Golly coming down this early, because for every lap that goes by, Golly's probably a second or two faster. Last time by, 22.5s for these guys. Last time by for Golly, it was a 22.255. So,
but with Golly being a lap down, he's got a lot of cars to move through before it's really a competition again. You know, if these guys were to stay out, say the remaining 50 laps, which I know is impossible, you know, it's a lot of ground to make up for Golly.
Yeah, and if a yellow comes out, the strategy goes out the window. I mean, it doesn't pay off. So it has to stay green here for Golly if he wants any chance to get back to this lead and maybe pick up a couple spots with Cofield and Holder. He has to have the green flag out for this.
I think Shutters might have got into the wall there, lost about 2 to 3 tenths on the lead to Cofield.
Yeah, maybe the lap car got him tight there. It's the 25 of Sean Kaser, and I think that's what happened is dirty air from that 25 car. Holder just got up into the outside. He's since settled it out, but he is losing time.
And quickly at that.
You see right here, dirty air, 25's kind of taking away his line, and no fault of his own. It's pretty much the only way around this place, but you can see on the left side of your screen that lead dwindling down a little bit each time that happens. Last time by, Cofield another 1/10 of a second faster. That is definitely hurting the 44 car. He is much stronger in clean air.
Yeah, we're looking at about 40 lap old tires on that 44 car, so it's definitely not helping him out at all. And this might be the time to really consider getting in the pit and getting you a fresh set, kind of restart.
Yeah, with about 50 laps to go, I'd have to agree with you that now's the time. You can force the hand of the guys behind you because there's no reason that they want to stay out more than one lap. You could kind of dictate this, what this field does as he slowly creeps up to the back bumper of Sean Kaser, and now 0.5 of a second is all he has as a lead. Off of turn 4, Cofield. Holder actually falls off a little bit. He's about a second back. Now right up on the back bumper of the 25. And I don't think Sean's going to hold him up. Yeah, he's going to go to the outside here. You can see the rear brake in the back of that 44. Wow, that's a lot. Just trying to get around the 25 car. That cost Shutters half a second. And here you can see the rest of the field now trying to go by. Going to stay out a little bit longer, and for every lap this goes on, that's another half second that Yusuf Ghali is making up on these guys. He's almost at the point where he can unlap himself. He might run away with this thing, and we might have a surprise victory.
Yeah, he's put himself in a great position with that pit stop after all.
There'll still be plenty of laps, though, for Shutters, Holder, those guys to get back to the 45 car. So you gotta think for every lap that Ghali does this, he better be maximizing it as he navigates some of this traffic that's probably not helping the situation. He's approaching your leaders now. He only has about, I'd say, 4 seconds back from Shutters as they come down the front stretch.
Yeah, Ghali pitting on lap 167, I believe. Hurt him at the time being, but he is making his way back through this pack. Now, the question is, if it does stay green and we have those leaders come in, is Ghali going to be able to make it that 60-lap stint on these tires?
I mean, I think he can make it on fuel, but yeah, the tires, they're not going to be the same. I mean, he'll even out with what the time he's making up right now. He'll definitely lose a lot of that ground. My my main interest right now is, did Golly make up enough that when Shutters, Cofield, Holder come down pit road, and they make that time back up? Because they're going to be meeting the same feet. As you see Shutters actually get into the wall there coming out of 2. Their main feat right now is going to be, where do I meet up with lap traffic, and do I lose time to that? Golly could end up pulling out this win just because these guys can't race and navigate back up there. And now you see a battle for the lead all over the back bumper. Cofield has caught the 44.
Yeah, that 25 car slowing down Shutters really benefits Cofield here, putting him in a great position to make a pass maybe within the next couple laps.
Cofield turned up the heat a little bit there. Last time by, he was another 10th faster, and he caught up. He's all over the back bumper. He's getting a better exit off the corners, just can't go anywhere with the run. He's going to be there when the 44 hits pit road. He might stretch it one more lap just to have that advantage. Long run speed from the 58. I said that it was a good chance that Cofield would find his way to challenge here. Now you see Yusuf Ghali into the picture to try to unlap himself.
Yeah, looking at Golly getting back up here to these leaders and so close to unlapping himself, I think puts him in a fantastic position to finish the race out, possibly in the lead.
Race has to go green, though.
Absolutely.
We got to keep reestablishing this race has to stay green. If Golly gets himself unlapped, he's in a little bit better scenario, but he's still going to be back in last. So, and there goes Shutters down pit road. Now Cofield takes over the lead. I thought he might go one more lap. I think he'll come down this time. $14 of Hawkins, the 48 of Schwartz, all coming into their pits as well. Looks like the 8 of Caustic in. And here comes Cofield. Silvers takes over the lead. He has his teammate to the inside. The 44 of Shutters goes by him, but he'll get a lap lead. This will be his second lead, technically, based off of the first session. He did lead the first lap of this race, but that will help the admins out with sorting the points, so they won't have to go back and look at that, because the rest of those laps were led by the 44 car. So he does officially put it up there and get that bonus point for leading a lap here today.
Yeah, Silvers will have to pit soon. I'm seeing him on a 55-lap stint on those tires. You know, Cofield, Holder, Shutters, these guys are going to be moving pretty close to him. He can get a good pit stop.
Speaking of which, battle for what will be the top 3 after these pit stops all cycle through. Holder and Cofield going at it, and now Holder has a teammate down there. Silvers checks up the 58 car. Cofield probably not going to be very happy about that. I think Silvers is just trying to get out of the way, but he was in the way of the 58 car massively there off the 2.
Yeah, it seemed like Cofield might have been a little bit low on that exit. I don't know if there's enough room there to really say that Silvers was trying to block him for his teammate.
I mean, Silvers wasn't intentionally doing anything, but he was to the inside of Holder, so he had nowhere to go. You know, it's just he's already to the bottom of the track when they're coming out of that corner.
Yeah.
That does benefit the 9. He's going to be in the 8th spot currently. They are 1.7 seconds behind. Adbird Shutters, after those pit stops, is checked out from these boys. Yusuf Ghali, after the pit stops, well, about 5 seconds ahead. After Silvers, Mills, Farmer, and Schroeder hit pit road, this will be your leader, barring that we stay green. It's looking good here for the 45.
Yeah, Golly made a really good call there to pit early, putting himself in the top 5 after these pits. And then still, the top 4 ahead of him all need to take tires still. So with that 5-second gap on Shutters has been running good enough tonight that he can make that gap close very quickly. But if Golly plays it safe with this clean air, he can very well finish first here.
Last time by about 0.4 of a second advantage to Radburn Shutters, so that's pretty mighty with the amount of laps we have left. Definitely a good chance that he's going to catch the 45. You see the 15 in front of him here, taking away his line a little bit. Now going way up the racetrack. This is buying time for Yusuf. I think this top 4 pretty much just praying for a caution at this point.
Yusuf is already on a 32-lap stint here. I'd be curious to see if he'll take another set of tires to try to get fresh, but it just doesn't make sense. If it stays green, then he's in a great position, but on a yellow, he might take tires.
Yeah, I mean, if a yellow does come out, he's unlapped himself, so there is that to factor in. And then he got back up here into the top 5 as he goes around Craig Schroeder. If he had to pick and they were guaranteed a yellow flag, I think he'd probably won it with about 15 to go. Good chance he could race his way back through here and pick up a lot of positions. And there's also a chance that those guys that have extra sets will come in with them. You know, it might be one of those Radburn Shutters just says, well, it's not worth the gamble, and Golly ends up ahead of him to restart the race. So, I mean, we're guaranteed that the top 3 are definitely coming in, so I would say maybe a good call either way. I think as the laps count down, Shutters has narrowed that lead down to just around 2 seconds. It's dwindling a little bit more with each lap, but here's Schroeder, who's just going to move up out of the way. Now no one between Yusuf Golly and Radburn Shutters. So Nick Mills, David Farmer, James Silvers, these guys all yet to come down pit road. I don't think they're going to get the caution that they wanted. If they were in save mode, though, how far can they stretch it on this stint? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get to talk to anybody before the race to see how the fuel consumption is here. You know, how many laps can you go on a tank? Will they be able to make it to the end on what they've got left? But we know that the guys that have pit, they've got no problem, tires and fuel to make it to the end of this. But we might see something crazy here towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I think that Nick and Silvers, I mean, if they're not borrowing on a caution, they've only got 20 laps to go. Can they stretch it out that far? That we're talking about 88 laps on this stint. I don't think they can do it. Shutters has caught up to Yusuf Golly, who's caught up to Farmer. This is about to get crazy for the top 3 positions. Yusuf still about 0.4 slower than the 44. You see the gains he gets into the entrance of the corners. Now off of the exit for the 44. Probably a pass next time by.
This late in the race, so Golly really needs to stick his elbows out and make sure that 44 car can't get by him.
Well, he's going to take him all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. 3 wide into 3 and 4. Farmer on the outside, playing defense here for the 45. Snaps it free, loses the spot. You know he did not want to give up that position. It was so important. But Shutters resumes what will be the lead. I don't think Silvers and Mills can even hold him off just off of pure speed. I mean, we're talking about 9 seconds, but we're still plenty of time. 9 seconds looks like a lot. It's not. We're talking about almost a full second a lap.
Yeah, it'll be tough to see, but again, this track of Richmond is so tough on drivers, especially on long runs, that it's still anybody's game really at this point.
"21 laps led now for James Silvers, and we're progressively starting to take it more and more seriously as he hits the wall that he has a shot to win this race, but I still would like to know the exact numbers if he's in conservation mode. Let's ride on board, take a listen in. He's not shifting down. That's helping save the fuel a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's going to be tough, but I think it's going to come down to the last 5 laps here. If Silvers can throw some good blocks in, he might be able to hold off those top contenders behind you.
Some fresher tires. Michael Kostick trying to unlap himself here from the 13th position. He will go by. The lead now down to 7.8 seconds as Kostick goes around. 17 car has to even back into his line, get back to running the marks that he was hitting earlier, try to mitigate the time gained by the 44 car. There you see Shutters in 3 and 4.
And further back, it looks like Golly lost a position to Mills back there, maybe shortly after he had that little mishap, letting Shutters get by him.
Mills lets him back by. Mills was to the outside for the top 5, but Golly gets the position away. You got to remember, Mills is also on much older tires. And so these guys pretty even. 10 laps to go when they cross the line. James Silver's your leader by about 6.5 seconds when they cross it. He's given up a ton of time. And Shutters catch him. There's Shutters now coming across the line. That's what 6 seconds looks like here at Richmond.
I'm seeing Shutters about a half a second advantage on Silvers. So with 10 laps here, we're turning 22 to 23 second lap times. It might not be enough for Shutters if Silvers can hold on to the line that he's been running.
This could be a surprise takeaway, a steal that puts Silvers locked in for the playoffs. There was a time to do it. This is the race. 5.5 seconds now. 9 laps to go. You're probably going to see Radburn Shutters appear on this screen as, oh, he hits the wall. That's not going to do it. You got to be perfect here for these next 7-8 laps. The nerves it's going to take here from the 17 car if he can make it on fuel, but he has to be absolutely perfect every single corner. The lap times have to be as fast as he can run them. Under 5 seconds now as he passes the 56 of Schroeder.
Passing that lap car might come into his advantage whenever Shutters comes around to get to the back end of Schroeder. It might play out perfectly for him.
There you can see the 17 going into 3. Shutters knows he's running out of time. Brandon Holder starting to surge back towards Radburn Shutters. We're talking about a 10th faster with a 1.3 second deficit. Cofield into the mix. If Silvers runs out of fuel, this would be your top 3, but right now he's still got that 5 laps to go. 4 as they cross the line. .8 seconds. There goes Shutters now across your screen. Off of turn 2. He just has to get around this place 3.5 more times.
I think he's going to do it, Bradley.
I think he's got the goods. It's going to be probably a shootout here. Shutters is going to be about 0.8 of a second faster this time by.
But he's got that 56 car ahead of him, creating some dirty air going into those corners.
Two laps to go now. James Silvers
Little
trying to save
sideways.
enough. I think he's got it. We still have about half a mile that a caution could come out. Ofield took a shot at Holder, but the white flag is up in the air. James Silver started on the pole, fell out of the top 5, has about 2.5 seconds over Radburn Shutters, and he has to get around Richmond for 4 more corners. Here he comes down the backstretch. James Silvers locking himself into the playoffs here at Richmond. Your winner tonight in the Overtake iRacing League Cup Series. What a steal here for the 17 car, surprising all of us. A dominated race by Shutters. He led all but 10 laps of this race.
I cannot believe he pulled that off.
That is unbelievable.
That was the boldest move I've ever seen. I did not think he had enough on the fuel.
Just a phenomenal job here tonight for the Overtake iRacing League, and that win will probably go down as one of those asterisks here for the 17, because it wasn't just about the pole position or the laps led. It was about the playoffs, and he did it in the very last race of this season, the regular season. Congratulations to James Silvers. Post-race interviews with your top 3. And there he is. He's out of field now.
That is incredible by James Silvers.
We'll bring your post-race interviews right after this and some final results here on Vspeed. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League live. More coverage right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live from Richmond Raceway. The Overtake iRacing League has concluded its 2-session event of 250 laps? So 240 laps. Yeah, that's what it was. The math is there. And so was the math there for the 1-2-3 finish. Cornerstone Motorsports into your top 3. Here's the final results up on your screen. James Silvers gets the surprise victory after starting on the pole. Mind you, the second session messes with that graphic, but he did start on the front position. Radburn Shutters, who dominated the day here, leading the vast majority of laps, will come home in second. Brandon Holder comes home in third. Jonathan Cofield, he tried to get around the 9 car towards the end of this race, just couldn't quite do it. But he's going to come home in the 4th position. 5th spot goes to John Schwartz. GT Hawkins in 6th. Yusuf Ghali back to 7th after pitting early. Nick Mills in 8th. David Farmer in the 9th spot. And Blake Hensley rounds out your top 10.
Following up the top 10, we got Michael Kostick, Craig Schroeder, Matt Grenier, Sean Kaiser, Eric Hutton, Michael Cole, and then I believe the last 3 here not finishing, Cody Anderson, Rafael Hubie, and Justin Sorrell. Not to mention the 81 car that we lost from the connection issue.
Yeah, there was a connection issue there with, I believe that was McCullough that had a problem. Trying to remember the name on that, but nonetheless, a couple cars out of the race here today with issues, and that brings us down track side. Your final results, I have the number 9 of Radburn, number 9, Brandon Holder. He is down there in the 3rd position, and I tell you what, it was a tough one here tonight. You fought with Jonathan Cofield pretty much all race long from about lap 100.
Yeah, that was a long race, and props to Cofield there running me clean. That was some fun racing there.
So take us back there. You have your teammates out there on the racetrack, and you know what they're capable of. This race, I mean, Shutters didn't hide anything. You had Silvers who started on the pole and then kind of faded away. But did you think that Cofield or anyone else was going to be a factor here tonight?
I knew Cofield was fast. I could tell early in the runs that he was fast and good at saving his stuff. Other than that, I mean, Yusuf was fast, and the regular guys. But Bradburn was lights out fast, and Alex made a great call for James there.
Well, Brandon, it's another great day. I know that you have wins in the other 2 series, but here to finish the last race of the regular season, you go winless. You will be into that playoff point strategy, but how important was it, though, tonight that you had a good race?
Well, I mean, it's momentum. It's one of my favorite tracks, so I obviously want to do well here. So, I'm glad this was the track that we set to close out the season. So looking forward to seeing what we can do in the playoffs.
Well, we appreciate your time, Brandon. A lot of different racing coming up here. We're going to have a variety of all of it. But is there anybody that you'd like to shout out for tonight's performance?
Yeah, I got to thank my teammates, of course, Alex Penn and everybody that, does the strategy. They're great at it. Aerial Pros of Western North Carolina, Function Junction Smoke Shop, GG's of Waynesville, North Carolina, Mountain View Detailing, and Waynesville Tire, and also BK Paints for my sexy paint.
Sexy it is. Looking good here in 3rd place here at Richmond. Appreciate your time, Brandon. And we'll talk to you maybe next race there, post-race.
Yeah, I hope so.
Moving on down the pit road, it's another cornerstone driver. It'll be the 44 of Radburn Shutters, and we have Logan Thruckel down there with him.
Radburn, Logan and Bradley up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I've got you.
Hey, man, great job tonight, leading well over half of that race in 1st place. How did that car feel out there for you? You looked amazing, putting multiple second gaps on some of those guys.
Felt great. Practice felt great. Every session I've done about two or three 50-lap sessions, nothing crazy. Mostly just chased hot laps the whole time. I think I done 1 fuel run before the race. Felt all right. Car felt good. Never done nothing to the setup. Just ran it right as iRacing base setup intended. Felt good the whole time. Never really had to drive in dirty air a whole lot, but a couple times that I didn't seem like it. If anything, it loosened it up just a little bit, but other than that, felt all right. And that clean air was great. Even after I lost the lead, I was still in clean air. So
yeah, we mentioned that a couple times up here about that clean air really helping you out. With that finish, man, coming in second between your two teammates there, We saw you making a really late push there on James Silvers. Almost paid off for you. But how did it feel getting to that point where knowing you guys are coming first, second, and third there?
Knowing that I was that close, I've already told James what I thought about him. As in quotations, I love you. No, it's just tough one to drive your butt off for so long and do so well, and then it come down to a fuel mileage race where you're picking up a half second a lap and you just run out of time at a track that I know I can win at. For there just to be one guy to do that, it's tough. But back to the, it's team win. You can't complain about that. We're gonna run away with the team championship hopefully, and another 1, 2, 3 finish from Cornerstone. You can't beat that. We didn't even really put in a whole lot of practice like we usually do. Everybody just kind of showed up and knew what to do today. I think we usually do pretty good on these short tracks as a group anyway. So, gotta be proud of everybody for pulling it together there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it is heartbreaking to go that far and be in the lead so long, but you did an amazing job tonight. Radburn, while you're here, buddy, you got anybody that you'd like to say thanks to?
Yeah, thank our sponsors, GG's, Function Junction Smoke Shop, Mountain View Detailing, and Waynesville Tire. And thank my beautiful fiance for letting us have these wild hobbies on a Wednesday night. Everybody at Cornerstone for pulling another one out, making a good race, good showing out of it. Everyone at Vspeed, broadcast, y'all do a killer job. Everyone with OiL. If it wasn't for everybody showing up every week, we wouldn't have this great group of guys out here, putting on a show. I mean, doesn't get no better than that. Still got a good number of guys showing up every week at this point in the season. Don't get no better. About to start playoffs too. We're real excited for that, and plan on keeping the ball rolling into the next few weeks.
Absolutely. And again, great race tonight. Heading into the playoffs with the P2 finish here at Richmond.
Heck yeah. Appreciate it, guys.
Have a good one, Radford.
Radburn Shetter's second place finisher of the night, but that brings us to our sneaky win here. James Silvers in the number 17. He snagged victory from the clutches of defeat. I have to say right now, James, I am impressed with what you did there, because not a single person on this racetrack expected you to have enough fuel, nor did they expect you to even be on that strategy. A surprise win, and you did it when it counted the most in the season, the last race of the regular season.
Oh, well, I think we still got Daytona next week, and then the playoffs start. But I think I'm not. Let me double check myself.
Me again. I might be off on that.
Yeah, we do. We go to next week. We go to Daytona, and then the playoffs start.
Then this graphic is busted.
Yeah, they've got a new schedule and stuff. You'll have to talk to Alex. He's slacking.
I'm fired. Well, okay, so everything I've said all night means nothing. James, you still won though. I mean, that's a fact. I can declare that as official. And the 17 car who started on the pole, you put yourself in a situation at the end. Did you think that Radburn was going to catch you?
Well, I knew whenever we was going based on the last strategy right there on the last run that we were doing, I got involved in that last caution. Me and Farmer were racing side by side, and I got a little bit loose, and a couple of turns before, and then the second time when we came through, I got loose, and I couldn't save it, and I slammed into him, and I do apologize to him if he's listening. But no, that put me back there. That really helped my strategy. It put me down on pit road and really helped me play it ear by ear and watching everything in front of me as it went by. And Alex was telling me, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, man, you're going to be able to save enough fuel. And I was like, well, okay, I'm just going to have to keep running it and really save these tires for 75 laps and hope to God that nobody catches me. And if Radburn would have had 5 laps, more, he would have got me for sure. There ain't no, there ain't no doubt in my mind he was coming, and I mean quickly. But glad that I won this race because man, I thought for a second it was just going to be another bad race under the resume, but pulled it around, and thanks to Alex Penn for really helping me with the strategy right there and helped me save just enough gas to be able to get across. I ran out of gas during my burnout, so I think I did all right on that. But shout out to everybody at Cornerstone too, man. That was a great race towards the end.
Shout out to you, man, to come up with that, and you guys there at Cornerstone working together and coming up with that strategy. Unbelievable finish. We've heard it 1, 2, 3 here for Cornerstone. Congratulations. I think you guys are probably going to seal the deal here with the points playoffs or the points for the team play. And just a phenomenal job, James. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out? I know you got them.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out, first, I'd like to shout out my girlfriend, Shelby Rathbone. I love you, baby. I know you're probably in the bed right now, but just call me in the morning because I know you'll be watching this. Shout out just everybody at Cornerstone, man. They do a phenomenal job every week. Our Xfinity program and our Cup program, it's doing really well right now. And I like everybody that's, going around, and we've been running pretty good and on the right track, and feel like we're kind of on rails here recently. So hopefully we can keep everything up. I'd like to shout out everybody in Waynesville too, and like to shout out y'all for putting on the broadcast. You guys do an amazing job every week at Vspeed. And sorry, but last, I got to shout out to the sponsors. Here they are. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've had to do this. Area Professionals of WNC, Function Junction Smoke Shop, GG's of Waynesville, North Carolina, Mountain View Detailing, and Waynesville Tire.
Well, there you go. We appreciate your time, James, and congrats on the win. And sorry that I didn't know the schedule here. I'm probably going to go back and review some of my information.
Oh,
but
you'd be all right.
we'll rethink all of it. But yeah, great job, man.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Bradley and Logan. You guys have a good night, buddy.
Awesome race, James.
Thank you so much, man.
There's your race winner, capitalizing on the pole position, found his way back to the front when it mattered most and led the last lap. Just about 2 seconds left there as the 44 of Shutters was catching back up to him. What final thoughts here, Logan, before we let them all go?
That has probably been my favorite race to be in the booth for so far. Action throughout, strategies all different amongst the field. James obviously coming away with the win. Like you said, running out of gas on his burnout. Can't get much closer than that, Bradley.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's action here on Vspeed. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have all 3 series for the remainder of this season for the Overtake iRacing League. But for everybody here that makes it possible, Adam Baker in the background that does all the graphics, makes this thing look pretty and presentable. The faces that you didn't get to see tonight, well, the names and the voices, rather. Eddie Smith, our other producer, Morgan Cook, and Christian Hill. And then for everybody that commentates here, my co-commentator of the night, Logan Threlkeld, helped me out in the broadcast booth. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you Saturday.